dripping. Yeah, she's on a mission, keeping our culture lifted. Now you can watch and listen to Tammi Mac. Tammi Mac. Oh, what show is that? It's the Tammi Mac Show on Fox. So, Tammi Mac, Tammi Mac, yeah, who that? Tammi Mac, Tammi Mac, hey, so you know it's Tammi Mac, hey.
Welcome to the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox. So, look, we're getting into a topic that has been trending lately on social media. 2 weeks ago, Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B dropped their song and the video for WAP. From that moment, many controversial conversations have been trending about Black women being overly sexual on camera. So tonight, we're talking about whether Black women are over-sexualizing themselves in media. Some men have an issue with it, and if the camera can be done in a tasteful manner. And I've invited the perfect panel to have this discussion. I promise you, you will not be disappointed with the ladies that I have brought to the table, honey. They are going to set it off properly. First of all, let's give it up for playwright, professor, and performance artist, Funmilola Fagbamila. Hi.
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for being here. And also creative consultant, Taerynn Khai. Hey, Taerynn.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Actress Yolonda Ross is in the house.
Hey, y'all.
Hey. And blogger Jay Blessed. Hello, Jay.
Hi, Tammy.
So let's get into it. Let's not even toy around with this. The first thing I'm going to ask, I don't know how much of the world has seen the video, but I do know at least over 23 million. So, so that's quite a large number. And that was just day one that the video appeared. So the question becomes, was it a good video? But I'm going to be specific. I'm going to be very specific. So since I'm talking to these ladies who are in the entertainment industry, first of all, I want to ask you creatively, did you like the video? Just from a creative standpoint, your thoughts on the video. Let's start with you, Taerynn.
From a creative standpoint, so I actually majored in radio, TV, and film. So I actually always end up watching music videos from that standpoint. I think that the video is done very well creatively, from the not obvious green screens to the costuming, to having the rap girls dancing, because we don't get to see that very often. And even the pop-ups that we used to see in in the older videos, like in the early 2000s, where you would see the it girls in the videos. I thought it was great visually. I definitely enjoyed it.
Okay, Yolanda, what were your thoughts visually, creatively?
I did too. I immediately thought Black girls can do everything, when I saw it, because it was like there were different mediums. Like in some parts, it reminded me of a video game. So just that, in the way we use hair, the way we use makeup, the way we use animal prints.
That's a good point. Good point. Yeah. It showed a wealth of creativity amongst the black women. Yeah.
It did.
It took us back to the 90s with that hairstyle.
Yeah.
I was really like, y'all, I was really feeling like Tisha Campbell and Tashina Arnold from Martin in their first appearance. Like that's what that bun reminded me of. It reminded me of, yeah. Okay. Anyway, Jay, your thoughts creatively?
That part, I thought the visuals were vibrant. I loved the costuming. I just loved their body image. I think I'll take probably 2 points out, so give it an 8 out of 10 just because of Kylie. And I'll just leave it at that.
Absolutely.
I'm ready for y'all tonight.
What was it about? You spoke specifically to the body images. What was it about the body images that you liked?
I think we need to celebrate a fuller Black woman. And I was really proud to see them really accentuating their curves, showing up their skin, and from juxtaposed to the lighter version of Cardi to, the chocolate of Megan. I love that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Funmilola.
Yeah, I mean, similar to what Jay Bless said, I'm thinking of the word vibrant. It was very powerfully vibrant. Just conceptually, right? The types of themes that we see throughout, I think it was beautiful creatively. I think that it's undeniable that there was so much going on in terms of the brilliance creatively. Where the questions come in is conceptually in terms of representation. That's when it gets into the questioning, right? But in terms of, I don't know who would challenge the question of whether or not it was brilliant and vibrant creatively, from a creative standpoint, in terms of visually appealing and aesthetically grabbing.
I'm having some Zoom issues here, ladies. I think, okay. Can you hear me? Can you ladies hear me?
Most def. Yep.
Okay. I'm having some Zoom issues. You know, that's been going on today. So yes, and we're gonna get into conceptually, but now I want to talk about the song itself, WAP, lyrically. Lyrically, how does it stand in terms of hip hop? And where will it live historically from a lyrical standpoint? Because let's face it, hip hop is all about the lyrics, baby. So, you know, we're always fighting about who is the best rapper, who is the best rapper, who has the best lyrics. So from Cardi and Meg, do you think that this song stands up lyrically, Yolanda?
Or you know what? No. I watched it. I didn't listen to it. I had the sound down. So I don't even know the lyrics. So Joe, I'm sorry. I'm always half wrong. So I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, or did we even listen to the lyrics?
I didn't.
By the video, like I only know the hook. I'm not quite well. No, I remember some of the lyrics. I do remember.
I have a question. What does WAP stand for?
The edited version or the real version?
Let Tammi do that. I want to hear Tammi say
it. I mean, let me just ask my EP if I can say it, and if she yes, then we'll say it. She said, "Worship and praise." You wrong, T. You wrong. It stands for wet ass pussy.
Well, here we go.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right.
But in the video, it's wet and gushy. So you that's why you probably don't realize where WAP comes from, because in what you've heard on the radio or what you see in the video, it's WAG, which is wag. It's wet and gushy, but the song is WAP. And so that's what it stands for. Your thoughts on the lyrics, Taerynn?
So they're not my favorite with Cardi and Megan as far as like what I put them in their Hall of Fame, but I think it serves its purpose of, if it wasn't quarantine, this is what me and my girls would be listening to at like the bar and at the club. I think that Cardi and Megan separately are very good at rapping. That is like their forte. They are in the industry for specific reasons. They serve their purposes. I still will put it up there like with if I was listening to a Big Mama thing or one of like ladies' nights or something like that. I think that it serves its purpose as being a fun song that doesn't necessarily need like the poetic aspect of lyricism, but it still serves its purpose of having good lyrics at the same time.
Lola, how do you feel about the lyrics, or did you even pay attention to them?
I did pay attention to the lyrics, actually. I only watched the video one time, but I actually like watched a video that was a lyric breakdown of the song. So when you really can observe the lyrics like line for line, it's like, okay, it's sexual, yes, but it's not the first time we've seen Black women engage in sexual rap artistry, right? And so I think that the question is around like the lyrics is not so much have we seen this before, or is it too much, because we've heard sexual rap before, right? And so I think that for me, it always becomes a nuanced thing, because I question what we mean when we say, you know, the lyrics were just fun, or if the lyrics were potentially harmful. And again, I know that we're going to get into that conversation, because one might ask, well, if they're talking about wet and gushy and, you know, what they anticipate from their partners sexually, and what they're willing to do, what they're not willing to do, what they expect, what their boundaries are, and also just expressing sexually what they desire. All of these lyrics, we can have a conversation about what it means in hip hop, you know, historically, or we can just talk about as women, them discussing their standpoints publicly about what has been historically considered taboo topics to address publicly. I mean, honestly, the conversation is kind of layered.
Yeah, absolutely. The conversation is layered, which is why I want to start with the most basic aspects of it, the creativity and the lyrics, and then move into the concept. Jay, how do you feel about the lyrics?
I wrote a whole blog post stating that I hate WAP by Cardi and Megan. Not that I hate the artists, our artists themselves. I actually really like them. Not that I don't like their music, I do. This particular song, it rubbed me the wrong way not because we're celebrating the sexual prowess of women and we should be proud to just say we could do whatever we want to do. But because the lyrics are so explicit, and mainly because I firmly believe that this song is being marketed to a younger audience. And that's where I drew the line. This song, I could hear it in a strip club. I could literally play it in the privacy of my bedroom. But when it's being played on mainstream radio, that's where I have to draw the line. Like, who is the song really being marketed to? Especially when you have certain celebrities as cameos in the video where you know they have a younger fan base. Who is this song really being marketed to? And that's where that's why I do have a bit of a dislike towards the song. And you mentioned before, Tammy, that hip hop is all about lyricism, but hip hop is also about lifestyle. So what kind of lifestyle are we really perpetuating when we do put out sexual prowessness and female sexuality out there in such explicit lyrics in a song that is marketed to teenage girls? You know, what's the lifestyle that we're really promoting?
Well, let's talk about the lifestyle that we're really promoting next on the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul.
Tammi Mac.
Let us not forget that we are involved in a serious social revolution. Those hundreds and thousands of our brothers are not here. Those who have said be patient and wait, we must say that we cannot be patient. We do not want our freedom gradually, but we want to be free now.
Great black minds, great black brothers.
Fox Soul presents Kings with Cosign.
For the guys you home alone right now during quarantine, this is the perfect time for you to pause and rethink commitments.
Stream it live.
Find your Scottie Pippen if you Jordan. Find your Kobe Bryant if you Shaquille O'Neal. Let's stop being independent in relationships and be interdependent.
Every Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.
You know, me and my wife, we might argue, but we always come back here.
Tammi Mac Show.
Welcome back to the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul. We're talking about the sexualization of Black women. And we're specifically referencing the WAP video and the WAP song by Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B. Meg Thee Stallion, my homegirl from Houston, Texas, and Cardi B. So Jay, you said the lyrics did nothing for you. You thought they were appalling. And you said not only is hip hop about the lyrics, but hip hop is about the lifestyle. So let's talk about the lifestyle. I think this video fits right in with the lifestyle of hip hop, no?
I'm not totally against the lyrics. Like, I can listen to the lyrics again in the privacy of my bedroom when I lay this WAP on my man. Like, I we could separate. There needs to be boundaries in certain type of content. And what I feel is happening now is there are seriously blurred lines when it comes to adult content and what is family entertainment. And this song is being, promoted mainstream where you have 2-year-olds practicing the choreography to WAP or singing the lyrics. And I don't care if they change it into there's some chores in this house. We know what the song stands for.
The chores in this house was very creative. I really did. I appreciated there's some chores in this house. But look, let's face it. Are artists responsible for who listens to their music? Cardi B is a grown-ass woman with a whole husband and child of her own. Meg Thee Stallion is just as grown and is a college student, for crying out loud. And are they responsible for who listens to their music?
They are not.
No.
They're not responsible, but there should be an onus, and I want to jump in here, ladies. There should be an onus on the responsible parties who market this, just like we are seeing cuties right now and the backlash of how Netflix has started this controversy of how they've marketed cuties in a exploitative way, in a very provocative and appropriate way. We have to be mindful of who is the puppet master here, right? And so they're not responsible for raising my child, but we have to be mindful that there are a lot of kids that do not have responsible parents, and they're being raised by the streets, and they're being raised by the music they listen to. So what are we doing as a community?
Two things here. Just for those who aren't aware, Cuties is a film that was at Sundance that was purchased by Netflix. It was a film out of France about a young girl, I think it was France, about a young girl who leaves this conservative lifestyle and enters this twerk contest. And by young, we mean at least 11 years old young. And Netflix took the original poster of the movie, which was pretty fun, lighthearted, kiddie kind of poster, and turned it into a more sexualized version on their platform. And a lot of people were outraged by that. And I understand exactly what you mean by that. But Funmilola, what I want to talk about is, look, this is not a new aged problem. We've always talked about who's responsible for kids. Charles Barkley did a whole campaign that said, I am not your role model, back in the, I think, mid-90s. So are these ladies, or even the people who are marketing these ladies, are they really responsible for who sees the video or who hears the lyrics?
Okay. Well, in terms of whose actual responsibility is it, I understand the question that Jay Blessed asked, which is who's pushing the narrative? Who's pushing the imagery? Who are the people behind the scenes that make the decisions about what types of music, imagery, and artistry get pushed to the forefront? What genres, what archetypes, what imagery of Black women gets to have the machine pushed behind it? So I'm not saying that then Megan and Cardi do not have agency in their own creative productions. I'm saying that there's always a machine in the back that pushes these images to the forefront. And then we have to ask ourselves, who's governing those decisions around which types of images get to be to the forefront. Now, in terms of who's responsible, I would never assert specifically that Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion are responsible for everyone that consumes their imagery, and that, that they need to make some type of statement that says that this is necessarily adult content. I'm not going to say that for them specifically. I also know the ways in which oftentimes Black women shoulder the burdens of responsibilities that other folks don't necessarily have to shoulder the burden for. And that happens in the way in which Black women are socialized from birth to be responsible oftentimes for everyone outside of ourselves and our own well-being. And I'm sure you all can understand what I'm saying when I say that. But I think that in terms of responsibility, it's a situation where essentially Cardi B and Meg are in essence artists push culture.
And this is, look, let's face it, ladies, do we expect more from Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion? This is what they do. This is what their music is and has always been. So why is everybody so up in arms about WAP? I want to go to our soulmates, a message from Christopher Catchings. Christopher says, Megan also raps that she used her WAP to get her tuition paid. That's not empowering unless you're a prostitution sex worker. Taerynn?
I actually have a couple points I wanted to touch on. As far as the circular responsibility, for sure, as a marketing professional, there is definitely a responsibility of the artists that they partake in their demographic and who they're marketing to. As far as radio statistics and who they're trying to aim towards, that is mainly now older people because kids are not using radio, but there is the responsibility now of what version is on TikTok, what's available on social platforms, because that demographic is who becomes 21 below. Cardi B and Meg, I think, are very much so trying to engage their own demographic and older, which is 25 plus. And I think they just want to have a good time in the music industry. And on a daily basis, they also, as Black women, as Funmilola was saying, they have their own responsibilities to bear. That because you are a successful music artist now, you have to be responsible for every issue or every Black woman or everything that happens in that Black community. And it's not that they don't have that power. I think that Cardi and Megan actually use their platforms very well when they step away from their music. Cardi does very well in participating in politics and local ventures. Megan does very well at promoting education and is still being very important, even though she's a superstar at this point.
But let's talk about the lyric that our soulmate Christopher brings up, that she used her WAP to get her tuition paid. Let's talk about that, ladies.
So
actually, I weigh in.
I wanted to disagree with Taerynn for a minute because she said that their music is being played on radio, and that's great. But their music, they became #1 based on just online streams.
Yeah.
The most online streams ever. And when we talk about online streams, we're talking about easy access to handheld devices, phones and tablets that are in the hands of children. So no, their audience, maybe because of their age, you think that they're accommodating to an older audience, but their audience is a younger audience. They are a younger audience. And so when we tap into who's doing all these streamings and who's watching these videos 100 times, because I just watched it like twice, and Funmi probably watched it like once, like who is really watching it all the time? This is a younger audience. And so when you
a lot, I kind of watched it a lot.
Yeah. And when you hear about the lyrics,
I'm 25.
When you hear about the lyrics
all the time.
When you hear about the lyrics of, you know, what you're doing to pay your school tuition, grown women right now are paying mortgages. Okay. Like we're paying mortgages. For a young girl to hear, if I could do this sexual favor, he might pay for my school tuition or he might buy me a phone. These are part of the lyrics. That's problematic.
I think that it's equally. Do you feel the same way about when men advertise what they would do for women just for showing up for doing anything in male hip hop?
Yeah, let's talk about Mystical. I came here with my dick in my hand.
Don't make me leave with my foot in your ass. Like that's how he opened the song.
Problematic.
I mean, there is there any question as to why he is where he is today? I mean, when you walk in the room like that
part.
One thing I do want to say about it is like overall, I'm coming from acting. So I feel like we are one thing. I feel like when you start dealing with music and musicians from, the beginning of time, it's like, I feel like music and musicians are sexualized. Like that's what sells. That's what sells in that business. And, in a case like this, it's like what Cardi was a stripper, right? From my understanding, it's like you're pushing a certain kind of background. I feel like what those women are putting out, is their choice. I do agree with you that it is younger people. I think it's a lot of people, period, listening to it and watching it. But, truthfully, it's young people looking at it. A lot of young people looking at it because all the
Yolanda,
devices.
we want to talk to you. When we come back, we want to talk to you, Yolanda. Are Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion just playing a part? You're an actress. We're going to talk to Yolanda about that. And then I also want to talk about the other things and the other ways that women empower themselves. Why do we get so caught up when they feel empowered by their sexuality? We'll talk about it when we return on the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul.
Tammi Mac.
You're going to want to buckle your seatbelts for this.
And Fox Soul presents Chatter.
Tonight, we have a man who was a Ku Klux Klan member.
5 women of faith, keeping it real.
At the end of the day, you hated us. You know, in that role, you hated us. But now you love us.
My personal motto is, if it is not justice for all, it is not justice at all.
Yes. Yeah. I love it.
Tammi Mac Show.
Welcome back to the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul. I have a plethora of women who think so differently about the sexualization of women in entertainment. As a matter of fact, we've got the actress from The Chi, the final season. The final season aired last night, right, Yolanda?
Yes.
Yes. And so, as an actress, though, you play a part. Just because you're in a sex scene, first of all, would you ever do a sex scene?
Episode 2 this season.
Saw that.
As if I had to ask. But I mean, nobody considers you a hoe in this house, you know? You played a part. So do you think that perhaps artists, musicians, much like actresses, play parts?
I do. Yeah, I do. I feel like because you can look at people's careers and there are different, people that are further in their careers now where, if you look back at them, they were one thing, they were trying something else, they tried this or that. I mean, in this case, I feel like these women did come out in a sexual way and, they're just taking it to the limit with this. I mean, I saw a Tiny Desk concert with, Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, I saw
and I thought she was so cute. She was so funny, and just so full of life and character. And it's like I could, and she was singing these songs, a cappella with a band and everything. But it was like the extra wasn't there. So this is the extra, and it's a business. It's a business. So I feel that's what they're selling. The unfortunate part of it, though, is when there are those little girls looking at it and, they start doing what those girls are doing. They start wanting to dress like that. Like, I got a huge problem with little girls with their ass cheeks out, just walking in the street. Like, I'm like, when did that shit start? When did that start?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, wait, that extra piece of meat is supposed to be in some drawers and in some pants. Like, I don't want to see children with their butts out like that or young girls out like that because, you're not on the beach. You're on the street in Brooklyn. You're in the city. People are looking at you. Predators want to touch you. Things could happen. And
I agree with you there, Yolanda. I actually have a problem with little children wearing bikinis, actually. Like, that's how conservative I am about it. I don't want to see a little girl whose, breast buds haven't even formed yet in a, panty and bra-like outfit. It just doesn't sit well with me, considering. But can we say that the internet has also kind of shed a light on this more? Like, it used to be where parents could control what their child watched or what their child listened to. It's almost impossible to do that now. And I have to say, the internet has allowed for things to come in that would never have come in the 90s and beyond. Would you agree with that, Jay?
Definitely. I'm a Caribbean American woman, so I've grown up listening to explicit lyrics from Lady Saw and Patra and Lady Shaba and even Spice, who you can see now in Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And so explicit lyrics, it's not foreign to me. However, growing up then in the islands, there were boundaries, right? How your parents raised you in the household that you were raised. If you happen to hear it, you're lucky, right? But now with the advent of social media, with technology at our fingertips, with babies being born and can navigate an iPhone better than you. That's a problem. And one of the things that's an issue is that I think with certain content, conversation should accompany certain types of content. We have parental advisory labels now on music that started back in like 1985 because of Mary Tripper, Al Gore's former wife, pushing for that because of Two Live Crew, or actually it was because of Prince's Little Nicky song. And if you never heard it, go listen to the lyrics of that.
Yeah, you would laugh at it now. If somebody told you Darling Nikki was explicit, you would completely laugh.
Based on what we're hearing now. Right. But we have to be mindful now of our kids have easier access. So what are the conversations that are happening at home? Right? Because Cardi's not raising my child. I have a 16-year-old teenage girl. Cardi's not raising my child, neither is Megan. I'm having these conversations. We sat down to talk about what a WAP is and the power of a WAP and celebrating WAP and even something as simple as masturbation that, you mostly hear fathers having that discussion with their sons. I'm having that discussion with my daughter because I would rather you entertain that with your whole self, your whole being as a young woman, than depend on, based on lyrics, a man to satisfy you sexually.
Yeah. My father used to go over every rap lyric I would sing. He would make me write the lyrics down and he would break those lyrics down to me. My grandmother, I remember one day I was mad at my dad and I called him a son of a bitch. And my grandmother was like, let's write that down and tell me what a son of a bitch is. She was like, so basically you're calling me a bitch. And I'm like, what? No, wait, I didn't call you a bitch, mommy, no. So it is, I believe it is the parents' responsibility to sit down and have that conversation with their children about the lyrics. But this is, like I said, Funmilola, this is not a new issue, girl. We had Lil' Kim, we had Kaya, we had Adina Howard, T-shirt and my panties on. We had Emil and Jay-Z. Can I get a what? Ludacris, I want to lick you from your head to come. This is not new. Millie Jackson in 1964 was singing about her slow tongue. Are you kidding me? Like, this is not anything new. Why are we so up in arms? And why are we still talking about who should be raising our children, Taerynn?
I think it's always going to be a debatable subject of who does what part of raising. I do agree that the exposure is a lot more prominent than before. But I really think it's just maybe at a faster rate because I was one of those, I'm in the millennial age where we kind of had a bit of both. If we didn't have social media and then we did. I have a niece who's 7 now. I have those same concerns as Jay Bless does as far as what is exposed to her. I think my sister does a very good job of still infiltrating the device availability she has, the content she has, what apps she has. She makes a copy of everything, go to her phone. But I think it is a duality of it is everything that happens at home and what you can't control. And then it's also going to be the aspects of the world is going to expose things to your child. So it's like Jay Bless was saying, being prepared to have those conversations to the best of your ability, to what knowledge you want them to have. But ultimately, we do know the responsibility of parenting is if you're in the nuclear community, if you're having a nuclear family, then it's up to you internally. And if you are one of the village families, then it's up to you and your village to discuss what's appropriate. But exposure is going to happen. So it's all a matter of, I guess, how we handle it from that point for sure.
So Yolanda, I did this independent film about 10 years ago where I was in the shower with a man and my ass was pressed all up against the shower, and then we had a bedroom scene. And mind you, I say independent film because you all up on the, you everywhere, you national, you international. I did an independent film where I didn't make no money. I just got credit. You know what I'm saying? With my ass out and in the bed doing sex scenes. But what makes it okay for you to do it and me to do it, but not Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion? Why do people have a problem with musicians that do it, but not actors that do it?
I was thinking about that today because, I mean, for us, we are, and it's not to say that what they're doing is bad at all. It's part of what they're doing and what they're selling. But for us, we are giving you characters. We are giving you life in a way of we are taking you into somebody else's life. So you're getting the chance to be like, to see like somebody's private life. That's why it's like what you see when you're looking at an actor is you're getting into somebody's private life, you know, a place where you would never get to see normally. When, you know, I feel like the whole big thing with musicians is they are putting the thing out to everybody. And a lot of times, even though we said that musicians can take on a role, we still equate them with what they are putting out, you know? So it's hard to differentiate that, you know, Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B with her titties out is not Cardi B with her titties out all the time.
Right.
You know, so that's the thing.
It's that the musicians are themselves all of the time, and the actors are playing different roles each time. Is Jay? I see you shaking your head.
Yeah, because we're used to hearing end scene. You know, when an actor or actress is done, it's the end scene. But for most times, for musicians, they live that life. That their whole life is part of their persona. They have to live it daily so that we can buy into their art. Right? They live their art. So I definitely agree with that, Yolanda.
I want to add on to this because I think that what Yolanda and Jay Bless are also talking about is the difference between what we have in music versus what you see in the acting world. Is in the acting world, there's a story, there's a narrative where you're seeing different layers of maybe a Black woman's life, and you're not just seeing the sexual aspect of her. You asked earlier what's different about now than before, because sexual rap music and Black women expressing that is not new. But the question becomes, is there a balanced representation of Black women for everyone to consume, for the world to consume? So if this is too far gone and it's to the point where maybe the overt sexuality is abrasive, the point that Taerynn made was super valid. Will we get as angry at slob on my knob, which is what Meg Thee Stallion tweeted out when people started to come for her? Will we get as angry at slob on my knob, or will we not, because we still expect for women to exist within an archetype that is not sexual, because that is viewed as not aligned with femininity or proper normative respectable femininity? All of this conversation jumps a lot into politics of what we view is respectable. But what we view is respectable, we have been conditioned from the time of our birth to understand what a respectable representation is. I think that we need to be very careful about how young Black girls consume what the power of their WAP is, right? And that we do need to be careful, and that we can say, maybe this is too far. Maybe this could be damaging if there's not a balance of representation, but at the same time, be able to critique why we are not willing to hold our male counterparts up to a higher standard of masculine sexuality as well. So
that part, yeah,
things going on there, but balance is important.
Yeah, and I would, you know, I go so far as to say I don't think most women know their WAP. So it's a good thing to bring it to our attention. I don't believe most women know what gets it WAP.
Ooh, that's a whole different topic, Tammy.
And I'm talking about grown women. You know what I'm saying?
That part, that whole part.
Like, hey, so Tyra Banks said Black women have always been these vixens, these animalistic, erotic women. Why can't we just be the sexy American girl next door? What's your take on that statement, ladies? As a matter of fact, we'll talk about it when we return on the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul.
Tammi Mac.
With coronavirus still spreading, people at higher risk must take extra precautions. You're at higher risk if you are over 65, or if you have any serious underlying medical conditions, like heart disease, chronic lung disease, diabetes, or if your immune system is compromised for any reason. If you're at higher risk, wash your hands frequently with soap and water for 20 seconds. Avoid touching your face. Disinfect frequently touched objects. And wash up after being in public spaces. And when it comes to social situations, less is better. Stay 6 feet or 2 arm lengths away from other people. Better still, stay home if you can. If you're sick, please stay home and away from others. And if you think you've been exposed to the virus, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. In challenging times, the choices you make are critical. Please visit coronavirus.gov for more information.
Tammi Mac Show.
Welcome back to the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul. Tyra Banks said Black women have always been these vixens, these animalistic, raw, erotic women. Why can't we just be the sexy American girl next door? I have to be honest before y'all get into it, because I know y'all got feelings about this, about Tyra Banks saying it. But Yolanda, I'm sorry, but I have not seen a lot of Black women until recently. And by recently, I mean maybe in the last two years. I have not seen a lot of Black women be sexualized on television shows or in movies in a way that shows our sexuality. We're oftentimes played, I don't know, as the funny Black chick who is the white girl's best friend.
Best friend, yeah, we're best friend.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, that's a whole thing in itself. I feel Black women and Black men, and you know, in that case, there are our sexuality in a real way. I don't feel it gets seen. I was really taken with myself getting to play a woman that is a woman's age, and you know, getting to show her sexuality and regain and, you know, see and feel her sexuality on the Shy. So, you know, thankful for that. But it is one of those things where I feel like, I don't know if it's white producers or, you know, or these production companies or the people of the networks, they are scared of it.
It's probably a combination of them all.
Well, yeah, no, I think so. I think it is a combination of them all because, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do feel it's one of those things where they are scared of it because they don't want to go overboard and get in trouble for it. But then at the same time, it's like, I don't feel they trust us enough to do it as well, you know, to come across with it. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. It's there, it's real. That's a real problem.
What do you think about what Tyra Banks had to say?
She said, why can't we ever just be the sexy girl next door? And why does it have to be kind of like this animalistic, overt sexuality? And this is the point that I really feel around balance. Historically, the reason that Black women have had to move away from hyper-sexualized archetypes in the media is because like the concept of Black women being hypersexual has been historically used to literally dehumanize Black women.
Sarah Bartman.
Sarah Bartman.
I mean, literally, when we talk about the perpetuation of the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade was perpetuated on this notion that these people were animalistic, that they were unhuman, that they were hypersexual, and that the women or the females of these beings are in some way, shape, or form, forgive me, this is triggering, but unrapeable, right? Because they're not necessarily women or necessary. And so this kind of hyper-sexualized imagery. So what do you have that's perpetuating this horrible system of destruction? You have Black women pushing back against that over time, saying, you know what? We are not going to give these people any reason to believe that we are hypersexual, to the extent that we have had to hide our sexuality to not fit the archetype of the Jezebel, which then leads into a different type of dehumanization, which is that now you can't even express your sexuality whatsoever because you want to be perceived of as respectable in society. So what happens when you're damned if you do and damned if you don't? Hypersexual, that's dehumanizing, and it's been used historically destructively. But if you hide your sexuality and you're not allowed to express your sexuality at all, now that's still dehumanizing because you're allowed to be a human being and express that. So Tyra is right when she says, why is it that we can't just be complex, nuanced, sexual, beautiful women in these ways and not have this overt, aggressive sexuality? Some people will look at WAP and say, yes, empowerment, sexuality, we need to make it more the norm. And some people will say, ain't this a shame that we're going to perpetuate this Jezebel stereotype, this imagery that has been used against us and used to harm us? It's literally...
Speak on that, Jay?
I think we also need to like highlight the intersectionality of female sexuality with woman empowerment with protecting Black women. And as much as there are so many nuances to our personalities, like, oftentimes I heard you mention about, stories before, or shows that you've seen within the last 2 years, but shout out to Mara Brock Akil, who's done a really great job, even with Girlfriends a couple of years ago, that shows the duality of a professional Black woman who talks about her sexuality, who could, be sexy, right? We have shows, we have Insecure, we have Being Mary Jane. These shows did pretty well in showing those nuances of Black women owning their sexuality, talking about sex, being on top in more than one way. Right. And we need to have those kinds of conversations, and also understand that there's also a time and a place, and this is just me being prudent. There's just a time and a place for everything. And that's just my personal belief.
Taerynn, Jay talked about protecting Black women. Your shirt says protect Black women at all costs. Let's get into it.
Well, I want to add a word to the shirt, all Black women at all costs, speaking into Funmilola's respectability. I think very often that it is only in defense of women who are considered to be respectable of the defense or protection is usually where it comes in.
Yeah.
So speaking to this conversation, what I think is most important to remember in this duality is what Yolanda was saying with Sarah Bartman, what Funmilola was saying as far as we were literally dehumanized by considering to be sexual mammals and animals at one point. There is a development that has come with recent society of sexual things are, like Yolanda was saying, what sells, but also as mammals, and like even in psychology, sexual things is what operates the human body. But there is also that hazard of what's too sexual, what's able to be consumed, what's dangerous for kids, what's not. But I think that at the basis of that, respectability is always going to be a dangerous topic, because who is the respect for? How does that have to alter? How does that shape shift? And as Black women, we are always shape shifting, whether it's code switching, whether it's changing hair, because I had a grad school presentation earlier and had a wig on. So it's just a matter of like, from moment to moment, there's a shape shift of now I have on a suit. Now I can be sexual. Now I can wear my bikini. Now I can wear my ass and my titties out because I'm not at work anymore. Now I can speak in this code. Now I can sing this song. It's always going to be a form of shape shifting. And there is, with sexuality, it's always going to be a touchy subject and always going to be considered to be a very hazardous area for people, because that is where some people do find their power, is recognizing that they're sexual.
Some of our soulmates here, the new fan, I'm hoping that's the right name, says Ludacris literally talks about a WAP in 1 Minute Man, no problem. Deborah Will says those who run the music industry do not care about exploiting our young Black girls or women. They never have and never will. Latanya Hunt says Black women must continue to learn and recognize their wealth and worth. We talked a lot about the dehumanization of Black women and how it started long ago as slaves. So let me just throw this out for your consideration, ladies. Could Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion, let me start with a story. So my girlfriend and I went to college, and as a freshman, we missed our curfew on day 1, getting back into the dorm. Day 2, we missed our curfew, getting back into the dorm. And so we became the hoes of the dorm. They started calling us hoes. Well, we knew we weren't hoes. We just didn't follow the rules and was having fun. We just got into college, right? And so we decided to take that back from them. And we put on our door of our dorm, the Houston Hoes. We took it back because we felt more empowered if we called ourselves hoes versus letting someone else call us hoes, which is much like the word nigga. A lot of Black people say they're taking the word back. Could Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion be taking that word hoes back? Could that be what the video, since we're now getting into the concept of the video, could that be what the concept of the video is all about? By utilizing Frank Ski's "There Are Some Whores in This House" as an instrumental background. Anyone?
Yeah. Reclamation.
I think so.
That's what you're describing, the process of reclaiming something that has been used by an external group to try to harm you or the group in which you belong in. And to say that in order to take the power away from the entity or the group or whatever it may be that's looking to harm me, I'm going to use that term and turn it into something empowering. You have people that argue that that can't be done, that you can't turn nigga into a term of endearment. You have people that argue that you can't turn bitch into a term of endearment between women. And then you have those that say, well, we use it and we don't use it maliciously, and we use it to say kin or friend or family. Nonetheless, of where your standpoint is on the topic is that I think that it's something powerful when you can say that I'm not going to allow a term to be used to harm me anymore, and I'm actually going to use it as a term of endearment. Again, some would say it's not possible, but I think that the way in which nigga has been used is an actual example of what it means to do that culturally, and how angry folks get when they can't engage in the use of that term. Yeah. And then the question becomes why, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And why is it, let's switch because we only have a small amount of time. Why is it okay for men to make money and to reap the financial benefits of calling us hoes and telling us where, you know, we can put it in our mouth and sexualizing us, and everybody's all good with it? But when women do it, there always seems to be a problem.
We know.
Everyone is not all good with it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Yolanda, say it.
No, I was going to say, it's not okay. It's never been okay, but it's something that has gone on forever and is still going on. And, you know, this is just one example of it. I feel for women, we need to make sure that we have all kinds of examples of ourselves. Yeah. And that's, you know, what was said earlier. It's like having the other side of that, you know, of the WAP out there so that we can see a full range of ourselves. And that's just a problem overall in entertainment. We don't have the multitude of you know, versions of ourselves to see out there.
And I think that's what Jay was referring to when she was talking about the television shows. Do you think that television has gotten better with that? The movies have gotten better with that now that we have more Black directors, more Black producers, and slowly.
Most definitely.
Yeah, there's so many more that can be out there.
Balanced representation. Sorry, I don't want to take up too much space, but like, really the name of the game is balanced representation. I remember there was a video I was watching where they were big upping Lauryn Hill because we understand what Lauryn Hill did for us as Black women. Powerful is not even the word, but, you know, they were talking about, oh, you know, there was Foxy Brown and there was Lil' Kim, and the people in the video were saying that after all of that sexual rap that they felt like they kind of needed something else, and then here come Lauryn Hill and the Fugees, and they feel like they got something else. And, you know, you have your Erykah Badu, and you have folks that are coming in and giving a different energy, a different reflection of what Black women can be publicly in the industry. But as beautiful and balanced as that is, we do need to, as Black women, begin to lead the conversation of moving away from the queen versus hoe dichotomy. We are more balanced. We are more than the queen versus hoe dichotomy.
Absolutely.
A godly queen at all times that doesn't really engage in any sexuality because she's just a queen on her throne, as opposed to the hoe that's only about sex. When will we allow for Black women to be full human beings with layers?
Yeah, there's a full range of us, and you know, there's so many missing from entertainment.
I think that's what we've been trying to say. Taerynn, you get the last word.
I just want to say that Black women are capable of all things. We deserve all protection, and we deserve all platforms. So
there it is. I think Jay agrees with you.
I so do. Yes, and protect Black women at all cost.
Every cost, all Black women.
Funmilola, thank you. Yolanda, Jay, and Taerynn, thank you so much for engaging in this conversation. It's I'm very honored to be a part of this Black girl magic panel. How about that? Even I'm the only one with their breast out. Okay. We'll be right back on the Tammi Mac Late Show because Tam has to talk to you on Fox Soul.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. Use a delivery service for essential items like food and medicine. If you must make essential trips, stay 6 feet apart from other people. Wear a cloth face covering and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Bye, Janet. It's nice seeing you again. You a good girl. Just let me know what I can do to help.
Well, to help me, she'd have to help every day. Every hour, every ouch, every time my wife calls for help. I mean, maybe she could help me make her lunch. But the crust, all the crust has to be cut off the corners. She could help me run to the doctor for the 5th time this week. Help me with the specialist and the second opinions and the painful paperwork about paperwork. Help me deal with how hard it is seeing my wife's name on so much paperwork. But this is on me. I'm the only one who can do this, like this, for her. Besides,
take care.
We will. Janet doesn't like her cooking anyway.
Find support for your strength. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. So when I met Narnese, she started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Deborah Dan,
Megan Hockaday,
Nina
Pop,
Stephanie
Clark, Nia Wilson, Webster,
Keisha Mike,
Christopher Dion,
George Floyd. His name was George Floyd. Say his name.
Say his name.
George Floyd. Say his name.
Say their names. Once again and always, we fight for justice. Black Lives Matter. Go to blacklivesmatter.com.
Tammi Mac Show.
Welcome back to the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul. In my late teens, early 20s, I can remember posting up on the wall of a nightclub called the Playpen, right? Just waiting for my song to come on. And as predicted, the DJ pops it on. That beat with heavy pulsations, the humming sound that intermingled with the pounding sound, and then the ladies coming in with a smooth na 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 na. Then the lyrics of Washington, D.C. disc jockey Frank Ski over the music yelling, "There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house." And up I jumped, ready to sweat it out to "There's some whores in this house." You would think in my later years that I would have grown mentally. My musical taste palette would have expanded, and being referenced as a whore would be demeaning and relinquish my moral grounds. You would think that I would demand the DJ to turn it off. But as I sit before you now with my own TV show, talking about the state of America, how Black Lives Matter, and the importance of voting, there is an internal yearning from my Sasha fierce-like being that still motions like a dog. When I hear the start of that song from 1993, "There's some whores in this house, there's some whores in this house," and I won't apologize for it because the beat is so sick. And I won't apologize for it because there may be some whores in this house. And I won't apologize for it because as hard as I get my dance on to it, I can attest to the fact that that whore is not me. I won't apologize for it because I am not celebrating my nor any other woman's whore status. I won't apologize for it because I am embracing the First Amendment of freedom of speech and what I like to call Amendment 1A, freedom to dance your ass off regardless of lyrics if the beat is sick. Anyone who is shocked, outraged, mummified by Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion's WAP should know that this is what they do. Check their music catalog. Why are you surprised? More importantly, anyone who is shocked, outraged, and mummified by Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion's WAP should check their own musical dance history. Music has historically talked about a woman's body parts, what a woman can do to a man, how a woman can make a man feel, and what a man can do to a woman sexually. Exhibits A through Z. A do it, baby, stick it, baby, do it, baby, stick it. Pop that coochie, A. Pop that coochie, baby. Pop, pop, pop that coochie, in case you didn't hear. Girl, you working with some ass. Yeah, you bad. Yeah. Girl, you look good. Won't you back that ass up? You a big, fine woman. Won't you back that ass up? Put it in your mouth. I said your mother mouth. I want to lick you from your head to your toes. It ain't no fun if my homies can't have none. And probably the most offensive first sentence of any song that was ever created goes to Mystical. I came here with my dick in my hand. Shake your ass, but watch yourself. And indeed, I was shaking my ass and watching myself and requesting the song over and over again on the radio. For decades, men have been exploiting, praising, attacking, celebrating the body parts of women and or their sexual proclivities. We could go on a never-ending storytelling journey of the way men have sang, rapped, and outright degraded the female body through song, video, and in reality. But for some reason, it's out of line, out of bounds when a woman owns her own sexuality and talks about her own body parts, what she can do to a man, how she can make a man feel, what a man can do for her sexually or what he can't do for her sexually. When we take control of our own narrative and begin speaking our own truths in song, it's okay as long as we stay away from sexualizing it. It's not ladylike. It's okay for men to make money sexualizing us, but not okay for us to take control of our own sexuality and reap the financial benefits from it. F-O-H. Listen, while women rise up in the ranks and file of Congress to the vice president, there are a multitude of ways for women to rise and express themselves. This country says so. I'm glad we have Maxine Waters and Kamala Harris, and Ava DuVernay and Oprah Winfrey, and Rosa Parks and Angela Davis and Katherine Johnson and Kathy Hughes. But I am also glad that there is a Cardi B who is married with a child and can speak to a presidential candidate by the name of Joe Biden on what the next generation wants and needs. I'm glad there's a Meg Thee Stallion who, in her pursuit for a musical career, still found time to study towards her college degree. Are those not good examples of a woman because of a part they play in a song? Sometimes we should get off our high horse, especially if you grew up in the days of Adina Howard, T-shirt and my panties, Kaya's My Neck, My Back, Trina and Killer Mike, Look Back at It, Emil and Jay-Z, Can I Get a What? Lil' Kim's Jump Off, Ruthless Records had a whole group called Hoes with Attitudes, and 1964's Millie Jackson. So while you hypocrites who now have daughters you don't want doing what you did, sit back judging folk to damnation for their WAP, I'll be at the party waiting for my song to come on. There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. That's your Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul. Until tomorrow, it's a blessing to be in your box. Bye, y'all.